Let's get into our first guest here this morning. Kevin Olenick is joining us. He's been here plenty of times before. Agree or Disagree is your podcast.
Agree.
And
Disagree.
Phoenix will always agree. Kevin will always disagree. Okay. So we brought you here today because you crowdfund conversations is kind of how I was looking at it. On your Facebook page, on your podcast, on your Twitter page, you're creating conversations. What is that? How do you do that? And how do you start off with that?
I think I try to start with a very simple question to me. I think I've heard some people rather frustrated by the context of that, but I think a simple question like, as an example, tipping or something like that. Just a simple question around tipping, to me, it creates people to think, hey, what are you talking about? And as the conversation grows, the thought around it becomes a little bit more in depth. So I try to keep things, I think I go by the motto, keep it simple, silly. And the simpler you keep it, the more engaged people are like, oh, hey, wait, I want to think about that, I want to converse about that, or I want to read about that, as opposed to making a long, drawn out something.
Yeah, if you put yourself in that situation and you can relate it back to the person that's watching or listening, then all of a sudden you have a connection.
Right.
That makes sense.
Yeah, and really the information that you put on Facebook and Twitter, people are scrolling really quickly, so you don't necessarily want to spend a lot of time drawing something out. Just make it simple, and then people are like, oh, hey. Yeah.
Catch their eye.
Catch
really
their eye,
quickly.
exactly.
Do you think with social media and having conversations like this, we change our opinions about things?
Yes and no.
Because maybe before we didn't have that platform to necessarily always see other people's opinions. Yeah.
I've seen people that passionately disagree connect, for sure. I've also seen people passionately disagree and be continuously stubborn. So I think it really depends on the openness of somebody wanting to be a part of the conversation, and whether or not their intention is to listen to the thread or the conversation, or to take it the direction that they feel that they want it to go. So it really comes down to where the person is at, and I cannot control that.
Sometimes we just don't want to have that conversation either. This is my point of view. This is the way I feel. This is how I think about things. I don't want to open up my box to other ideas because this is how I feel. That's the stubbornness.
Yeah, and I think that that's rather unfortunate if people are like that. But I also hear times where people are having private conversations and it's a bit more in depth. And I love hearing those stories because you don't necessarily hear that on my thread or in private messages or anything. You sometimes see too many arguments, but private conversations, I think people open up a little bit more, that hey, you know what, I'm coming across a little stubborn here, but I really want to know about this, and I want to understand where you're coming from.
Yeah, Michelle, do we want to hear those private conversations, those intimate details? I mean, that's what we see on social media a lot. You know, somebody's going through a breakup, or somebody is going through some sort of issue and they're upset with somebody. Do we really want that voyeurism?
I personally don't. I try and stay out of it. You know, I do have my opinion, but I feel like more often than not, it just starts controversy, and then more people get involved, and then people can base their opinion off of your opinion. So more often than not, just stay out of it. Yeah.
Are either of you comfortable sharing your opinion on Facebook or Twitter or online anywhere?
Absolutely. Myself, I probably share too much sometimes. I've been told by some of my staff, no, hold back on that. That's affecting the vision of our company. And I'm like, you know, it's my company. This is me. You're dealing with me and the people that I put in with me. So whether I share the stuff on my personal page and it reflects into my company, myself reflects into my company. So I have no problem, because the people that are following me want to see something that I say. So there's going to be good and bad.
Do you find as a business too that sometimes you feel like you have to portray a social media image instead of being like a real person?
Yep.
And I feel like you saying that you're a real person I think attracts people to your business, because they know that you're not talking to a quote unquote bot or someone that is hired.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you say someone is hired, I do have a social media manager that works with us. But when he's posting, like, he's also one of my great friends. You know, we got into it as business,
so he gets you,
and we became. He gets me. So when he posts something, I don't have to be like, oh man, why did you post that? That's not how I would say something. It's like, no, he gets me. He gets our business, and he's awesome at it. I have no other words for him.
Right.
You know, he's not a bot. He gets me. He's an extension of me, and I love it.
Well, that was real quickly here. That was it's interesting you say that, because I sent out a tweet not too long ago, and I said that Ryan has this little fuchsia mug. You'll be having it today.
Turquoise.
And
Fuchsia's pink. This is fuchsia.
I don't know if it was your buddy. He responded and said, "Well, that's actually his favorite color." So, again, it's cute, it's clever, but he responded to you realizing that he understands you, and that's important. But what about safety as well too? You know, one of the toughest things that I have, especially with 2 kids, is that safety aspect about how much they want to share, how much they want to discuss, and how much private information that they really want to post. Boy, that's a big topic too, guys.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, I think that my philosophy also is think before you post. So is it something really that you want everybody to
put down the wine?
Put down the wine, yeah. No drinking and tweeting, by the way. Yeah, put it down. Think 4 seconds. Even if you just write it out, stare at it, count to 20 or whatever, and then is this something you really want out there to be part of your brand? Yes or no? And if it's no, delete it. No one needs to know, right?
Go ahead.
I know as a realtor, being a female realtor, I'm very cautious with if I'm doing an open house, putting the address on my Facebook or my, my realtor page, because you never know. If you're at a vacant house and somebody walks in, there's been situations before where realtors don't make it home. So I have to be very aware of what I'm putting on there for safety reasons.
Do you think we've gone too far with crowdsourcing our lives? What restaurant should I go to tonight? You see it all the time on Facebook and Twitter. Hey, I need to get my hair done. Girls, what's a good place to go? Yeah. Broke up with my boyfriend, yada, yada, yada.
Advice.
What should I do? Yeah, do you think we've gone too far?
I feel like that is usually when I get the most people engaging in my posts, is when you get people involved, and it's nice to have opinions for sure, and to have recommendations, but there's certain things, should I break up with my boyfriend, being out there publicly, that you might want to just hold back on.
A little too far.
Yeah, and especially if you're angry with somebody. But how many posts and how many tweets have we seen, or that?
Well, how many stories have we heard about people getting fired from stuff like that?
And it's just sometimes it can be so embarrassing and put you in a very unfavorable situation, So,
but why would you want all of Twitter? I guess that would be the question. Sometimes I have to ask this myself. But why would you want all of Twitter wanting to know that it's not when you're using Twitter for that? It's not just your followers that can read that. It's anybody can read that.
Right.
And quite frankly, on Facebook too, anyone can read that. Why do you want all of the world to know that you want to break up with your boyfriend, especially your boyfriend, or girlfriend?
That goes through my mind all the time when I'm reading people's things.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but you even think about some of the posts that are put up there. For some reason, we think, oh, that must be true. That must be real. There's some validity to it because the person wouldn't have posted it unless it's true. But we don't have that filter for some reason. We think, oh, it's posted. Oh, I hear Michelle is breaking up with her boyfriend. Oh, she's not breaking up with you. I'm just using this as an example. He's a little freak right now. He's going to post something saying, I just heard on trending. What's going on? But we tend to, our little screening process doesn't seem to kick into gear. We just read it and go, react. As opposed to, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. I know Michelle, I know her boyfriend. That would never happen.
But and maybe a conversation for later, but celebrities, when they do that, when they post stuff, how easy is that to be retweeted? And it's very rarely fact checked or sourced or anything like that. People retweet it because it's at said celebrity, right? And so really it is also important to have critical thinking when you are posting or reading information on Facebook. Please critically think before you share it.
And it never goes away. You can delete it all you want, but it'll never go away.